Have you ever noticed that the kinder you are, the worse people treat you? You hold the door open for someone and they walk through without a word of thanks. You help a friend in need, and suddenly they expect your help every single time. You go out of your way to be nice, to be generous, to be considerate, and somehow, instead of being appreciated, you become invisible. It's as if your kindness makes you weaker in their eyes, like it's a flaw rather than a virtue. And here's the worst part. If you don't figure this out, you'll spend your entire life wondering why people don't respect you, why they ignore your needs, walk all over you, and take you for granted. But don't worry. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly how to command respect without losing your kindness. Because the problem isn't kindness itself, it's how you're using it. Let me tell you a story. In ancient Rome, there was a merchant named Gas. He was known as the kindest man in the city, always helping, always giving, always smiling. If someone needed money, he gave it without hesitation. If someone needed his time, he never said no. At first, people praised him. "What a good man," they said. "What a generous soul." But over time, something strange began to happen. The more Gas gave, the more people demanded from him. The more he sacrificed, the less they respected him. He started to notice that people didn't even thank him anymore. They simply expected his kindness. One day, a man he considered a close friend borrowed a large sum of money from him. When Gas finally asked for it back, the friend laughed. "You don't need it," he said. "Besides, I thought you were generous." In that moment, the mask fell. Gas realized the painful truth. The world doesn't respect endless giving, it respects boundaries. This story isn't just about Gas, it's about you, me, and everyone who has ever felt taken for granted. It's about the universal truth that people don't value what they get for free. The Stoics, philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, understood this deeply. They knew that kindness, when given too freely, loses its value. Think about it. When was the last time you deeply appreciated the air you breathe? You breathe it every second, but do you ever stop and think, wow, air is amazing? Probably not, because it's always there. That's exactly how people see kindness when it's given without limits. They start to think, this person will always say yes. I don't need to appreciate them. They'll help me anyway. They must not value themselves if they let me take advantage of them. And so, your kindness, something noble and beautiful, gets twisted into a sign of weakness. Have you ever seen a nice guy get completely ignored? He's always there, always available, always willing to do anything for anyone, and yet no one respects him. Meanwhile, the person who doesn't care as much, the one who sets boundaries and says no, becomes the one everyone chases after. It's like a cruel joke, isn't it? But it's not a joke. It's human nature. People respect what they have to earn. They respect what is scarce. And if your kindness is unlimited, if it's always available without question, it loses all value. Now, this doesn't mean you should become cold, distant, or rude. Absolutely not. Stoicism isn't about becoming a stone. It's about control, balance, and understanding how to navigate the world with wisdom. So how do you command respect without losing your kindness? Let's break it down, step by step, using the wisdom of the Stoics. Kindness must be intentional, not automatic. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and a Roman emperor, was known for his generosity. But he wasn't a people pleaser. He gave when he chose to, not when he was pressured or manipulated. Before you help someone, ask yourself, am I doing this because I genuinely want to, or because I'm afraid to say no? True kindness comes from a place of strength, not fear. When you give intentionally, people will value your actions far more. Learn to say no without explaining yourself. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, wrote, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." If you're constantly available, if you never set boundaries, you become meaningless in the eyes of others. Practice saying, "I can't do that," and leave it at that. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Watch how people's attitudes shift when they realize they can't take you for granted. Reward appreciation, not entitlement. If someone genuinely values your kindness and shows gratitude, continue giving to them. But if they demand your help or act entitled to it, withdraw your kindness immediately. True respect comes when people understand that your generosity is a gift, not an obligation. Let them know that your kindness is something they must earn, not something they can exploit. Command presence, not approval. A Stoic doesn't seek to be liked by everyone. They seek to be respected. When you stop trying to win people over, when you stop bending over backward for their approval, something interesting happens. They start valuing you more. This is the paradox of respect. People are drawn to those who respect themselves first. So, stand tall, set your boundaries, and let your actions speak for themselves. Here's a simple test for you. Think about the last 5 times you were kind to someone. Now ask yourself, did they appreciate it or did they expect it? If you realize that people have been taking advantage of you, don't get angry. Get smart. Use the principles you've learned here. Start setting boundaries. Be intentional with your kindness. Say no when necessary. And watch how people's behavior toward you begins to change. If this resonates with you, if you've had that moment of, damn, this is me, then don't just read this and move on. Take action. Start small. Practice saying no to something you don't want to do. Notice how it feels to prioritize your own needs. And if you want more insights like this, stay tuned, because this is about more than just advice. It's about transforming your mindset and reclaiming your power. Remember, a Stoic gives but never begs, respects but never kneels, and is kind but never ever a doormat. Kindness is a strength, but only when it's paired with self-respect and boundaries. So be kind, but be kind on your own terms. That's how you command respect. That's how you live a life of dignity, strength, and true generosity.